This is the Toyota 4Runner. It's a mid-size family SUV that's capable of carrying 5 or 7 people, built with the capability of true off-roading potential. And that's why this vehicle has garnered such a fan following. And the latest generation of this vehicle, the one that you see in front of me, came out in 2009. For the 9th model year, the 2019 you see before me, not much has changed except for a special edition for which you see in front of me. This is the Nightshade. So with a $2,500 upcharge from the limited 7-seater, you'll get a lot of black chrome trim, these 20-inch wheels, power running boards, and slightly different interior trims. Now, that's kind of it for the Nightshade, so if you love your black chrome and you want a 4Runner, this is the car for you. But with a vehicle such as this, competing against a vehicle that's in Toyota's lineup already, the Highlander, that is built much more for family, utilitarian, everyday usability. And this is the same sort of mission, but again, with the capability of some off-roading potential. So taking this car for a drive in regular day-to-day use, I want to see how it stacks up as an everyday vehicle. And then at the end of the video, I'll place it in my ranking system and determine where it lies amongst its competitors, and especially the Highlander. So, without further ado, let's go for a drive. Beyond the Nightshade Special Edition, there really isn't any other changes for the 2019 model year. So that means that the 4Runner has one powertrain configuration and has the ability to seat 5 or 7 people. That powertrain is a 4-litre V6 producing 270 horsepower and 278 pound-feet of torque with a 4-wheel drive system. Now that system kind of changes around depending on which trim you're in. This one here, I have a big dial down here that I can change from 4 high to 4 low. But quite frankly, everything that I'm experiencing here, you will be able to experience in all of the other 4Runners. So what's it like to drive? Well, quite frankly, it does feel like quite a gutless motor under this bonnet. And that power is sent through a quite ancient 5-speed transmission with an overdrive. What that means is we're dealing with a quite loud, naturally aspirated engine that needs quite a lot of motivation to get going. The nice thing about this engine though is that as soon as you reach cruising speed, you engage your cruise control. It's a very refined engine. I'm not getting any sort of vibration through the seat, the floorboards, the center tunnel, nothing. It's just the act of propelling this vehicle forward is quite a task for this vehicle. It's just that's the kind of noise you have to deal with to get anywhere quickly. For such a large and top-heavy vehicle, I don't find it concerning driving this car at any sort of speed, throwing it into corners, unless of course you're really being an idiot, because it's controlled, it's calm. Going down the highway at 110, there's a bit of road noise that's transmitted through. I imagine these knobbier winter tires are contributing to that, but really isn't as bad as I originally thought it would be. With the most basic 4Runner, you get that powertrain setup as I mentioned. You'll get the 6.1-inch screen in front of you. It doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It is very much the last generation of Toyota's touchscreen systems. It reacts very quickly. Finding your way around isn't challenging because quite frankly there aren't many menus to sort through. You'll have the moonroof, the fog lamps, heated front seats, and then to get into the Nightshade, it's a $2,500 premium over the limited 7-seater. So the things that I mentioned before, that's what the Nightshade gives to you, but in the limited you'll have heated and ventilated front seats, dual zone climate control, the 15-speaker sound system, radar parking front and rear, and a sportier suspension setup. What does this translate to? Well, a vehicle that rides fairly well. The steering is heavy, but you don't have to strong arm it to negotiate it through tight corners or parking. It is an easy vehicle to drive, and even though it is a hulking mass, you know, there is still a good amount of visibility as well. You can fold down those seats in the middle row and the third row. A lot of space here in the footwells. My knees don't brush up or bash against anything. When it comes to the middle row seats, I can sit behind myself comfortably enough. I'd probably give it a struggle factor of 3, as there is no panoramic glass roof option and you don't have many options behind there, power inputs, anything like that. When it comes to the third seats, they operate manually, so you lift up one section and then pull the base of the seat out. Works rather seamlessly, but as a 6-footer trying to sit back in that third row is close to impossible. And when you have that third row of seats up, you are left with close to no boot space at all. You have a security cover that kind of slots in between of the second and third row, but there doesn't seem to be a spot where you could store it away. Anybody could get into the front of this car and easily tell that this interior isn't representative of the modern car world. The 2019 model years and so many other vehicles don't really look like this, but that's what gives just a hint of charm to the 4Runner. All of these knobs are chunky and they're heavy. All of these buttons are meant to be used if you have the thickest and heaviest gloves on. Everything's laid out logically. I like how the window switches are up on the very top of the door cards, leaving a little bit of storage down here to throw coins or a wallet or something like that. And everything feels solid, nothing flexes. Where I rest my elbows is a soft plastic. The seats are fine. I would like to have more leg support under my knees. I feel like the base of these seats are quite short. We've got a lot of metallic blacks up here by the touchscreen and down here alongside the cup holders. Despite Toyota trying to implement as many safety systems as possible for their latest vehicles, you can't really find many of them here in the 4Runner. So it doesn't have automatic stop start, it doesn't have radar assisted cruise control, doesn't have lane keep assist, blind spot warning. It does bother me on a vehicle such as this that there is no power tailgate option available anywhere in this range. It's not that the tailgate itself is heavy, it has a lot of assistance, but in a vehicle this size and this price point, why can't they just make it available? You also have this tiny digital screen in between these massive dials for your tach and speedo, and it is quite abysmal. You can change around the display settings to give off a little bit of information, but it's so poor of resolution, it looks like it was taken out from a 1980s video game. And quite frankly, if there was an option to cover that up, get rid of that, I would absolutely spec it with. Here's a quick and easy way to really date a vehicle when they don't have a middle setting for the indicator. That 3-click lane change isn't here in this vehicle. Despite an interior where the vehicle feels old as it is in its current state, that little screen in front of me really puts a carbon dating on this vehicle. Oh, and I failed to mention that it seems like whenever you go lock to lock with these 20-inch wheels and maybe perhaps these larger winter tires, it does rub up against the front mud flaps a bit. You can hide away the rear glass, so if you're ever carrying longer items or something that can't fold up into that space, that provides you with a little bit more functionality. The 4Runner isn't a vehicle for everyone. In day-to-day use, I can't think of a good enough reason why you take this over a Highlander, unless you really like the looks and you want a vehicle that you can throw around on some mud trails from time to time, then probably that's why you're looking at this over the Highlander. So if that is your kind of situation, if you really are looking for a daily run around, I'd think twice about the 4Runner. It's why I'm ranking this vehicle as something that you should take a look at. It looks good, it has a very solid interior and bulletproof reliability, but in all seriousness, the Toyota 4Runner is built for the fans rather than the rest of us. So that's been everything from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watching this video. Please like the video if you liked it, share it if you think other people will like it or hate it too, and if you want to hit that subscribe button just down below, that does the well for me. Thank you so much for watching again, and I hope to see you soon.